Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Book Stage by MXR.world. We are a platform with fireside chats for authors of newly released books. And we're very happy today to have this event today on the occasion of World Photography Day. What better book to launch on World Photography Day than a book on photography? This is the book Find Dreams by Anil Annaiah. It's called the Camera Yoga book. And in this book, we talk about what's happening with photography, self-reflection, camera yoga, and things of that sort. We're here today in the Ritz-Carlton, an absolutely fantastic venue for those of you who love not just hospitality, but also art, craft, and design. There's some amazing artworks and design in this hotel, so it's a treat for art lovers and it's a feast for photographers. But first, let's get on with our fireside chat today. Anil, welcome to our fireside chat on Book Stage. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Anil, this is a fantastic book. I've gone through the book very briefly. It's full of hundreds of photographs, and there's a photograph and then a blank page, and then you have exercises for people to reflect on it and talk about the photograph, how they feel, what they would do with it, and so on. So, amazing book. Thanks for launching this book, and I'm very happy that we're here on World Photography Day. You've got 10 books now, as you can see. Those of you watching this, there's about several of his 10 books over here. Anil, let's start with this book. Talk to us about this book, how you started this book, what it's about, and so on. Anil, thank you.
Sure. So happy World Photography Day to Madan first. I mean, he is a torchbearer for art, culture, and photography. So, it's a pleasure and honor to kind of have this speak with him.
Thank you.
So this book is a long journey. I mean, it is an evolutionary journey which started around 2013-14 when I came out with my first book called Simple Perceptions. And that book, so it was a little serendipitous. I had these images which I had shot for a coffee table book then as a collection for a corporate, and there were a lot of nature images. So I had taken a kind of a sabbatical from filmmaking, a brief kind of, and I had gotten back into digital nature photography. So then I said, why don't I have an exhibition of my work? And this book was something where I had started writing thoughts. So intuitively I was writing, Madan, in terms of what came to my mind. These were little small poetic lines, and these were not meant to impress anybody. These were not meant for any other reason, but for me it was like I needed to write it out, and that was the end of the story. So I just kept writing, and writing was not a day. It was like, it took a year or two to put together 64 to 70 quotes. So it's not like I'll sit and then write, no. Something has to come to me intuitively, and then I will write it down and then keep it. Write the untitled book and leave it there. So this image, then I thought, now this book which I wanted to see my years of photography and my writing to come together. So then I wanted one to mirror the other. So the whole thing just came together as a design in my mind. And then, like all creative people, we don't go in a logical pattern. It's almost like what inspires you, what you creatively feel you need to do, you just go ahead and do it. And end result, whatever it may be and however it is taken, is not the agenda. So that's how the first book came, where there were thoughts and there were images, and that was extremely well received. It was called Simple Perceptions, and that started on a journey of, then there was this requirement to solve the problem of citizen science. People said citizen science is an important subject in 2014, but they needed a different stimulus. So then I came out with this concept called nature is art for conservation on one side of the coin, flip it, discovering science through the lens. So I wanted people to come and look at nature only as an art form, get intrigued, curious, enough to look and then open the leaf of science. Not the conventional citizen science way where you look, you record,
take part in a project.
So I wanted everybody, so this was like an open society could be a part, purely because I was inviting them to be artists. So come, find something curious, and then go ahead and discover what that curiosity whets your appetite as in the science story. So that was the first forum. of Nature is Art for Conservation, which was which then went on to become a series of exhibitions in CKP. We just completed the 13th year.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Congrats. Yeah, yeah. So, what's your background? Can you tell us how you started in this whole journey? Are you an engineer? Are you an artist? Are you a
No.
CA? What are you?
Yeah, so not an engineer, but an artist, and I did my mass communication journalism. But more than that, I would think it was a journey of fascination. That's how I put. That's I said. When I looked at what Bill Gurley said, I could recall what took me to buy a camera at the age of 11. You see an ad in Reader's Digest, you see that Agfa Click 3, then you cut it out, you stick it onto a cardboard, then you act out like a photographer as a kid in school, and then you wish for a camera. And at the age of 11, I got the Agfa Click 3 through Providence, and then on it's been a self-learning journey where you buy books on photography because you want to learn the technique, you go to workshops, you try and become part of photography communities to see senior photographers at work. And then I went on into getting my break as an ad photographer in 1991. Then the next step was to make films, documentaries, ads. So it's been a self-taught journey. So then now I can relate to what Bill Gurley is saying, that fascination can take you forward because you will do continuous learning, and you want to learn because you want to learn, because you find it natural. It's not an effort. So I think that's been the journey which has taken me to writing books. So there is no preamble to anything that I've done till now. It's
It just
purely
evolved.
it's
Yeah.
purely my fascination for something which prompts me to learn and then engage and create.
Wow. So tell us a bit more about camera yoga. I mean, it's a fantastic term, and I like how, from what I've seen from your work, photography definitely is a great hobby. It can be a
Right,
great
right.
profession,
Right.
but you're saying that it also has ways of contributing to society, to environmental awareness,
Correct.
to inner growth, outer growth, social growth, and
Perfect,
so on. So tell us a bit about how this yoga part connects to photography.
Yeah, so this was, like I said, an evolutionary part. Most of the time, serendipitousness is very important. I feel that most of the time when you take it a little too much into the logic pattern, then what happens is we lose the intuitive power of the universe. You're trying to kind of force fit yourself into saying that this is the within box, and then you don't know what was out of the box
Yeah.
might have greater relevance than what you thought was within the
So
silo you are
it's more
looking
than
at.
the role and the process
Yeah,
and the
the
task.
silo you put
Yeah.
yourself in, you have already put yourself into a straitjacket. So for me, like I said, I started clicking nature back because my first exhibition was at CKP at the in 2000, which was extremely well received, which had a mix of nature, still life, etc. So here I came back as a pure still nature photographer, and these images which were there just kept on building into a format where year on year I had this opportunity to the exhibition. People come, you interact with viewers, you see the way they stay with some pictures, they ask these questions. So I would say each year the exhibition taught me with the interactions, as in what is it, the citizen science part was solved. It was a great idea. I took it to a lot of corporates. We had exhibitions at corporate houses. Then there was a lot of stuff. Even I was there at IMB in 2014. At the library, I had the opportunity to showcase my work. So
Very nice.
it was like, I think, one of a kind opportunity to be there in the IMB library to showcase your work as a photographer. So I could see that photography had become digital. So then that whole thing of my generation of photographers who started out had this technology and technique part which was more important than the art part, in that sense of the
Yes.
term. So that problem was solved. So everybody had a point and shoot camera, and you could.
Yes.
Then the mobiles were getting more powerful in time. It was like, I would say, a couple of parallel journeys happened. I started this with the DSLR. The cameras became more reliably
Yes.
photographic part. Photography was now more accessible. Nature was very important for the environmental part. The SDGs came by United Nations.
Yes.
From MDGs, Millennium Development Goals, it became Sustainable Development Goals. So I think it was a convergence of the need of the hour and time. And each year the pattern changed, Madan. And then I could see, I started doing nature films with my iPhone, and I could see that this whole process, which I was doing evolutionary for myself with my books parallelly running, was that I was doing something which was like sacred space. It was like a meditative space of clicking, observing, then nurturing that image, framing, then the videos. So this word of putting together the camera and yoga just happened just like that. One day you sit and these words come together for you, it makes sense to you. You go ahead and start expressing that as your, finish and style of practice.
Yeah. So, what are some of your next steps now? What's your next book going to be about?
So the next book. So what has happened is the books which I wrote, like this book which is there, Fine Dreams, uh, sort of became Madan where I thought, let's now repurposing the smartphone was one where you could go and do that nature is art and discovering science kind of stuff. But then I thought, what if you wanted a hard reset? You needed an inspirational space to even do that photography. You look at nature, you look at some lovely pictures and say, this is not me, not my cup of tea. So then I thought, what if the books I have written with images and quotes can be repurposed now? And that's how the new book became the book, where I said if people could use a space for journaling, reflection. So this image itself becomes a start point. So, you have these images. So that becomes your hard reset. You look at the image, you get into an observational mindful space, and then if you can transport yourself to that space, I've seen this tree somewhere. Cognitively you go to the rustling of the leaves, which you by default noticed while you're traveling
Yeah.
or from your office window. This looks like something which I always look at, that, that small telephoto of the leaves stuff, and that's your hard reset. That's where the deep mindfulness comes. So that is the yogic part, seeing and being. And from there, you write down your thoughts or write what feelings emerge. And there is a quote which goes with it, could be a start point for you to start thinking in one direction. So it's like a small inspiration bundle where you can transport yourself, Madan. And this is for real because, like I said, this journey is evolutionary. I mean, it's not like 2013-14 I knew what I'm going to do in 2026 and it's going to be a camera yoga practice book. No. So I had to walk the path, traverse that line, and intuitively get that evolutionary part. Okay, this is a great format. It works for me. I'm sure it will work for Madan and work for it.
Got it. I like how you traced the evolution of the whole photography tools. I remember the days of analog reels.
Yes, absolutely.
I remember one discipline that we had to have was you had only reels of 24 or 36 photos.
Right.
So you had to plan how many photos you can take on how many reels. Now it's gone the other way. You have almost too many photos that you can take, but that can be good and bad. What is your take on how this smartphone evolution has transformed, democratized, also made it much more competitive, more difficult to be seen among other photographers?
So I think photography has, like I said, 1839, I think, August 19th, as we speak, the daguerreotype was there, and we are here now, 187 years plus.
Almost 2 centuries.
Yes, 2 centuries. And I think each time photography, for me, it's like holier than thou. I see it as a prayerful space of service. It has served, if just take the camera out of the whole part of evolution, Madan. Imagine nothing was recorded, no wars were recorded, no good times or bad times were recorded. Imagine people had to only rely on memory. Can the learning be there like the way we have now? Can we have the relating be there if that camera was non-existent? So for me, camera is a sacrosanct invention if you look at it from that point of view. It has served humanity throughout. It has played different roles at different times during, the 1800s when it came, to the 1900s, to then, 60s, 70s, 80s, where there were big, large format cameras. Advertising became, the baby boomer generation and the advertising part. Now with X and millennials and with Gen Z coming, the tool has, so beautifully, camera is so beautifully arrived, if I may put it that way, into what is required today. So I would think now it's a generation where, or times where we need to express, share quickly. Um Also, art should not become prohibitive. You look at something which you can admire, you can capture it.
Yeah.
So I think camera has been a very responsible tool if used
If you
appropriately. Of
appropriate,
course, I
yes,
mean
yes.
it's been even otherwise. But if if you look at the positive impact of what camera has done, and like to answer your question in the perfect context is, I think it's playing its role now, and camera yoga is an explanation as in how that is repurposed today.
Correct.
Repurposed as a mindfulness tool, as a tool for you to have a cognitive
Reset.
reset,
Yeah.
look at the colors, look at the
Appreciate
details.
nature. Yeah.
Yeah, and nature is our only conduit to the future. I mean, we have tried out everything else. We know that forest bathing is old, one of the oldest principles, and nature is our biggest and friendliest and non-judgmental muse, if I may put
Yeah.
it that way, Madan.
Yes. Yes.
It
Very
doesn't
nice.
judge you. It doesn't. Um, it's your safe space. It's almost like being with your mother.
Yeah.
So that's how Mother Nature, if I may put it that way.
Brilliant.
And camera today is, so the yoga is a union between you, the image, and the space of meditative space you can get into there, where I think everything kind of, your breathing, your thoughts, everything kind of.
Yeah, I like how you connected passion to mission. There are a lot of people who think of photography as a fantastic hobby, which is
Right,
great.
right.
But you're also saying photographers have a responsibility
Yes.
to do something for society, for
yes.
the art community, for nature,
yes,
for wildlife, and so on.
Yes,
So how did you make that connection?
So I think it was always there. Like my first book I wrote in 2001 was called Nobody Speaks to Me. And then I had this concept called brand radiance. So the whole idea then I wrote was a little bit of a, I think too early. 30 years back was too early because I came out with this concept called brand radiance. So I thought everything that we do in communication should have a radiance propensity beyond social marketing.
So beyond brand affinities, brand
Yes, social
radiance.
marketing was there, and there was like you need to sell, etc. But I thought brands had another responsibility, or in the overall was you need to get the radiance propensity. Now radiance is at that level where you are at an elevated state. So I coined this TM word called brand radiance, and the book I wrote was Nobody Speaks to Me. The me is the inner person. So there's a whole lot of communication going on
Yeah,
then.
it's not just demographic; it's to the
Yeah,
individual.
but inner, nobody was speaking to the inner person. It was all like surface glamour. You create something which kind of gets your goat, but might not do it. So I thought communication should be like that, and that's how I have used photography and documentary filmmaking, everything in that context. That communication is a sense of power, and visual articulation is another level of power. If you can use that, then the impact you create on a human brain, because it uses its eyes and ears and senses, you can hard reset anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
You just have to take them through. So camera is also an effort. It can hard reset anybody who might not look at nature the way I have looked at, but through this book and the practice, they enjoy the joy, the calm, and they become photographers themselves.
I got it. One other connection I think you made very well is the connection between photography, art, nature, books,
Right.
movies.
Right.
So tell us about you, how you built this whole ecosystem around you.
So it's been serendipitous, Madan. It's like I said, now when I hear Bill Gurley, I can now, look back at my life and say, I think the thing that kept me going or keeping me going on, like the Camera Yoga Practice book is come out now, while the first part of the book was thoughts and images, which was like for reflection. I think it's been a journey of fascination. So each time, so I kind of advocate what Bill Gurley says now, that yes, you need to kind of have a fascination for something, and then your continuous learning, adaptation, and your sense of social goodness will keep you on the right orbit, because it can, it's like a ball in cricket.
Yeah.
It can be a googly, it can be off spin, leg spin, a fast ball. It depends on who the bowler is. So I think fascination with the right length, timing, pace is important. But I feel that I have reached here purely, now when I look back and reminiscence, I think it was the fascination for imagery writing, and with a clear ideation that it needs to do the social good part uh, too. The commercial work I do for my regular thing, but I've built a parallel universe of changemaker universe consciously, though it took my time away from my commercial work, which I could be using to market myself commercially. But now when I look back, I feel satisfied that good, I broke the time into two parts very clearly.
Got it.
There is a change maker part which needs to be alive, and that's these books and this whole journey is a result of that, Madan. If I had not pursued that, Madan, I would still be speaking about we would be not on this
On this
platform.
wavelength.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
It would not be a worthy conversation. To
Yeah,
have.
got it.
Such a waste of time.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, a big concern of many people these days is it commercially viable to be a photographer? So, what are some of your thoughts on how to build a career, profession as a photographer?
I think as a photographer now, or a decade back, two things came on. Earlier what ad photographers used to have the center pin pages, we could see a lot of wedding photographers and candid photographers becoming like the toast of the town, because people saw that only a photographer could capture those moments which were otherwise missed, and you need to go back in time to see what happened. So I think that part of photography, event or candid portraits, survived the stuff. Of course, pristine ad photography continued, but the demystification of photography brought in tools in everybody's hand. Like I started shooting with iPhone for the last 5-6 years. I rarely go to my DSLR unless I make a conscious effort. So I've been a photographer only using my phone, a videographer only using my iPhone. So each time iPhone gives me, I had the zoom in, I upgraded because I could actually do a zoom. I could exactly do what I would do with a DSLR.
With the DSLR.
Yeah, so all the tools were there, but the beauty was it was handy. I take it out and do that. So I think commercializing photography, one part of it definitely has ebbed down. I would not say closed, ebbed down, because it had a ceremonial different level of whatever. Now it's more democratized, but the role of photography has not changed. Just like we have Jamal helping us videograph this event now, so we still need a person to help us through this, to make sure everything is good. So that's a part of commerce. I think events and these are part of commerce. I think my art part is a part of commerce, as in my art collection as an art photographer, which is there, is a part of commerce. So you bring in all your years of intuitiveness and your power, and you bring in an image which is like a reflection of your persona, if I may put it that way. So that way, art, photography as an art form will continue to be admired, and I think even more, like I said, photography is sacrosanct.
Yes.
I mean, it stays there, and you with
yeah.
folded hands look at it. So for me, camera yoga has been like, I'm grateful that that word came to me. I'm grateful that I could put these two worlds together and be one of the participants in the space in celebrating camera.
Yeah, and not just conceptualizing it, but building a whole body of work and practice and education around it. That's remarkable. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
So I'm grateful for the opportunity. So I keep camera as my guide. If that was not the muse to cut and do that, I would not have found a meaningful journey, if I may put it that way, Madan. Because you see, commercially, a lot of work you do, at the end of the thing, you say a wrap and it's done.
Yeah.
I feel that journey of fascination every kid now should pick up, and I feel this book is also a precursor for that. So two things very important which I've looked as a wellness tool is, this book helps you reformat your brain. Nature is your teacher. So you look at an image that might open up something else as an engineer, as a doctor, as a father, as a as a brother. It might just, and the thoughts which are there might just give you that cognitive reset. Hey, I didn't think this way. And that colors and that leaf, the form, I feel that there is something there in nature which can bring out the best in you. And when you bring out the best in you, Madan, you take the right decisions, you speak the right words,
Yeah.
you have a more,
Fulfilling direction in
yes,
life.
you
Yeah.
are a better member of the society. So
Yeah.
I feel that this book and these words is like a mission for me, where I feel that if you've gone through and if you feel that this has been, kind of spurred you on the right way, my job is done.
Great. Great.
My job is done.
Yeah. Thanks, Anil. Once again, we're seeing a fireside chat now with the author of the book Find Dreams by Anil Annaiah talking about camera yoga. So, Anil, these days you can't have a conversation about creativity and photography without talking about AI.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts on how is AI going to make things better, make things worse for photographers, for creative people? How is AI an ally of you, and how is AI an adversary, maybe?
I would think that for me, from the time of my journey, AI came at the right time. I needed somebody to, bounce things off, have a, kind of use the language model to put all the contextual information, and then I could, pilfer but on a visual part, definitely it has been an aggressive standoff between what we were taking time to create. Let's say a film poster. I make a movie and I need a film poster. Now it's, I can just have about 5 or 10 versions staring at me. Or if I'm communicating about camera yoga, I have quick ready posters before I go for a meeting. I give it the device and the dimension. So that way it has come in the way of designers, image creators, etc. So as a photographer also, images like in movie making, in the ad films which we do, the storyboarding now happens with me with AI. Even some of the film clips for my recent films, we
Yeah.
could generate AI, some clips of the product, some kind of lighting. So that way it has walked into our space, Madan. So in a way, I would not say that it's a worthy intervention. It's kind of past the point of friendliness. And it's come and, it's occupying a seat beside me.
Wow.
Uh,
It's not
and
just a tool anymore.
no, it's sitting beside me. It's become like a companion, compatriot. Now that's a dangerous space for somebody who's starting practice now.
Yeah.
For me, maybe okay, I'm willing to have a companion because
You
I
already
still
have a body
can.
of
Yeah, I
knowledge.
have a
Yeah.
body of work and I can override any time. I put a hard stop. I know that it cannot think my intuitive way or go beyond, and definitely original work is better calibrated in the market now. There's already an offensive look at anything that is AI generated. There's a
Yes.
conscious feel that give me something, give
That
me a
is
cup of coffee
human,
which
something
you
human.
made.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like home cooked meals. So I feel human inertia, since we are made out of cells and we are part of DNA, I feel we'll go back. So that nature is a muse in that sense of the term. You still will celebrate a tree and a flower more than anything else that will look like a digitally created environment.
Yeah.
So I feel that way we might have a comeback, Madan, or we might have a middle path where there might be a segment which will say digitally, like AI, we need to declare that it's AI created. So there might be a space which will clearly demarcate, especially in the creative spaces. And I feel the large danger of saying that things will be created by AI, micro dramas will be created by AI.
Yeah.
Movies, there are AI film festivals in that sense of the term coming up or come up already. They might, just like anything in the human evolutionary, you celebrate something which looks, it's the new thing. But I think it might ebb because people might want to relate to a human being in a movie connecting to an emotion. So, but definitely it has put the wedge in between.
Yeah.
It has made a strong wedge. So I think at times it's a great friend. At times a kind of, I wish you were not really here kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think difficult for me to predict what will happen in a decade because human psychology is very important.
It is.
Human minds are how how they pick and drop things.
Yeah.
So, but I hope and pray that human kindness, human goodness should be kept at the pristine level. Human wellness is where we will thrive as a society.
Yeah.
that should not be relegated to the second level, and definitely youngsters should not be told that, look, the algorithm can do everything, we have everything taken care of, guys, we'll give you some,
Other stuff to do.
freebies
Yeah,
and stuff. And no, I think we are kind of putting a kind of a different spin on the brain, Madan.
Yeah.
I know you can. Do you relate to that?
Yeah,
Because it's the idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Different
So,
people have different reactions to AI.
Yeah.
So those of us who were in the analog era have one reaction. Those growing up in an AI native generation.
The productive
are
part
different.
of in medicine, in drug discovery,
Yeah.
in safety, all that, it's really becoming the best companion to have.
That is
But in terms of relegating a human to a level that, so guy,
Yeah.
what's up?
Yeah.
What are you doing here? I think that's where we need to be careful. That AI, you embrace AI like a long lost cousin,
Yeah.
and you say, I'm so happy that you are here at the time of distress, rather than a unwelcome guest, and you say that kind of
This wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, you brought my house down.
Yes. Got it.
That's not the business.
And this is another whole discussion by itself, AI and creativity. But let's come back to photography.
Yes.
What does World Photography Day mean to you? What have you done in the past few years? I remember we first met when we had organized a panel on World Photography Day.
That was a memorable
thank you,
day.
Thanks.
That was
I'd
so
love to
nice.
hear what you've done on these days, what it means, what should be doing, people should be doing on this day.
I think World Photography Day, Madan, like I said, for each practitioner who's kind of lived by the camera or believed in its power, it's an emotional day, if you might put it that way. So you always put out a picture, and for me, pictures and thoughtful quotes and philosophy. So I've always lived by that paradigm. So I always put in a quote, and grateful for it being the tool of my generation. I'm grateful to see its evolutionary part from Aqua Click 3 to iPhone. So I've been kind of a witness to what it meant. So each photography day, you kind of feel more empowered. And now with this Camera Yoga practice book, it just came to me a couple of months back. See, Camera Yoga was there as an ecosystem of practice.
Got it.
Nature is art, discover. So you click a picture, there's mindfulness in the activity. So this hit me when I came out with a new book. So that how can't this book be itself where you don't even have eyes is a camera, the first camera. So if I can empower your eyes as a tool of observation, tool of where you can sit in a room like this and experience nature. In a weather where nature is not pristine, you can experience nature because you're feeling low and you want to see a small light and a bright flower. So what do you do, Madan? You still need to take the hardest decision of your life that day. So I feel something like this is a pattern where on that day this book can be the greatest of your companions, where you can still see nature, you can journal your thoughts, you can. So I feel that I have kind of arrived at a space where I have brought in the art form of photography into the service part for wellness and repurposed the mobile as not for doom scrolling. You can use that to get inspired and click a picture, and that picture can be framed in your mind, on your desktop, as a part of a journaling activity. And Camera Yoga is an ecosystem I'm creating. There are a couple of other 4 or 5 ways you can use Camera Yoga other than the book part.
Okay.
That ecosystem I've created so that Camera Yoga will become an oasis where you can drop all your memories. And so I'm creating a framework. So I come from a creative strategy part. So I know anything that starts as a hobby and you don't have anything to limit it, Madan, as organization and an entrepreneur, who have built a production house, built a setup, I know that if you just let it go, it will just become like an not so disciplined effort. And
you just go all over the place, it may dissipate.
Camera Yoga is like I'm creating a system, a set of frameworks where this will help handhold you and take you further, and you will reminiscence like I do about 30 years back and say that, yeah, I did some activity and that is well housed, well chronicled. Like I was talking about your photo sparks, so well chronicled and put. So Camera Yoga is that, where it will give you a definitive space, it will build that ecosystem, give you some quick results, it will go on to have social impact. So it kind of ticks all the boxes is how I see it, Madan.
Yeah, great. So, Anil, one of the things I like in your work is how you brought the concept of journaling to the center. A lot of my work is in media and consulting and research, and journaling is an important part of all of these. So, what are some of your thoughts on photography and journaling? How that is very important for becoming more calm, more observant, more reflective, and more happy as a person?
So that's perfect. Great question, Madan. Because how it started for me was the image and I had the thought. So I would see the same need in others. You know, it's like I said, it's an evolutionary journey, and we have so much to say when we do things, and we want to be heard. Most of the time, therapy is about conversations, and it's about somebody who needs to be heard because they come from a different frame of mind. Each person's experience is different in life, and each person's, I would say, the super sensitivity to a few things which even families miss. In conversations, they don't know if they're being condescending or they're being somewhere where they have let their own friends, families down, etc. in that sense. So I feel that you need a space where you can construct your process of expressing. And that construct comes from journaling, where you are not judged, you're freewheeling, and you're putting your sense of writing, which is a very important part. Like, just to say, Washington Post just a couple of days back wrote an article on how a few moments of writing can do a very important cognitive reset.
Yeah.
So imagine journaling as a part where, so I feel that it should be cultivated as a habit. Like olden times, people used to write their diary. That was journaling. People used to say, fill your diary. In schools, it used to be compulsory. Write the day's events, put, etc. So it was not so personal. So people used to have personal diaries. They said, don't touch my personal diary.
Yeah.
So that was journaling in that form. So now I feel that journaling is important. And here what I have done is, I thought the image is your freewheeling way. You just go, you're walking into nature, seeing and being there, trying to kind of see if you're been there, how do you feel, am I among those mango trees, does this flower look like in the garden I saw? So you deeply get into that space, and then what does this tell me? This tells me in the childhood, this is there in my grandma's place, or I remember this color which I went and I saw that in this space, or I was in Delhi and I saw this. So that's the trail which opens, and then you write. So my thought for the day is, I saw this when I was traveling in Delhi, and the event that happened was good to me or not bad to me. That day was difficult, but then overcame. So things like that. Or I want to achieve this, I want to do this. So this tree or this flower kind of gives me that construct. This is my favorite color. This is my mom's favorite color.
Associations.
Yeah. Or I want to know what this is. So I take an app and click check if that macro shot also can be deciphered by the plant spotter.
Yeah.
So there are multiple ways your adventure can start, and journaling is critical. It can all lead for you to kind of reminiscence and write there. Today actually I started with this image, and where I went to Delhi, and then I went to something which I saw in that magazine from there. So I feel that we need therapeutic spaces, Madan, where I don't know, as an artist or as a photographer, as a writer, we enjoy our, individual spaces. You like your time with yourself a lot. Maybe as a creator, I don't know, you also
Absolutely,
might relate
yes.
to that.
You need a bit of introvert,
Yeah. So you are a deep introvert and an extrovert in a space like this. But given a chance, you might just want to go, and the next thing you want to do is
withdraw.
With you are either, thinking and then finding out something. So journaling is that space which now everybody is talking, and loneliness is a big thing which is coming across. Feeling low, loneliness, not having a purpose, not fascinated enough to take up a journey. All these need nature and outlets, Madan. So I feel a book like this, practice book, when I told, most people are saying, how can you do camera yoga with a book? And you're not even talking about taking your camera out.
Yeah.
I said, all right, let's do it. We'll know it when we do it.
Absolutely.
And that's been my journey.
So you're going from seeing, being, doing.
Yes. So this is I'm already, so this takes off the digital drain and the fatigue. So you are starting here. You might end up taking a picture with your phone, but at least there's a space. I felt that this is a space from what little knowledge I have, I could house something, concretize, and then hope for the best. So this is the hope for the best phase. Madan.
Great. Thanks, Anil. We got about 10 minutes left. I got some questions from the audience.
Sure.
When I posted this on social media,
Sure.
a lot of people sent questions. We can take
Right.
maybe 2 or 3 of them. One is one of the participants asks, how can photography help me become more creative as a person? How does camera yoga help me become more creative?
So I think from the word camera yoga itself, it's a stimulant for creativity, in the sense that when you hold a camera, this flower, if I just take, kind of making it. So if I just zip up my camera and click this flower, what I get out of it is an image. So let me just do that image. So I just go close, I click a picture. So here it is, Madan.
Yeah.
So here it is. So what have you done? What you have done is an instantaneous, thanks to the technology at B, and it has given me. Now I just use this image and go, look at the details.
Yeah.
Look at them. So this
can
is,
zoom in
yeah.
and see
So
things.
this opens up a pattern that you could frame, compose a picture. From the composition, more lessons will come out. Then maybe you can ask questions. This color is different. This color is a little different here. How can I match the real color to this? So that is the process of creativity. That process of creativity, which otherwise would have been a long journey of a brush, a paint, which is also a very important part of doing it. You can take a sketchbook and do this too. But photography kind of bridges that gap even further. Like I just told, I click this. Now this picture can be my tabletop picture. I was with Madan, Manasvi, and all here, and I had this picture, World Photography Day. This is the picture from my memory. And then each time I look at it, different memories open up. I might write a small note about it. I might create a frame. So the process, and now this creativity now will take a reflection on your other activities. So you will never forget this flower in your life.
Yeah.
You will relate to this color better. You will relate to something that you have in your wardrobe, or your member of the family has something in the wardrobe. So you're creating a connect with the universe in more ways than one, Madan. Yeah. Which other, how can you travel this fast into so many trajectories?
Correct.
Can you? No.
Yeah.
Not into so many planets, maybe one planet at one time. This is an universe. It just opens up, tut, 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 tut.
Yeah.
Possibilities are immense.
The next question that one of our readers had is, how does all this help mindfulness also? On the one hand,
Right.
the smartphone and social media are very distractive.
Right.
You always are getting sidetracked to something else. But how can you bring focus back with smartphones and photography?
That's this book all about, and that's been my journey all about. Where one image, so you go to nature, you observe it first through the eyes, which are your first camera. Something really, you pick up the color, the twig, the tree, the bend of the arm. Something catches your eye that day, and now that becomes what you want to photograph mindfully, calmly, without looking at being the most competitive photographer, not deciding which lens, and don't go into that trajectory. Just go, pick up what you have observed, frame it, compose it, bring it back to yourself, study it. What is it that caught your eye? Why did you stop at that branch? The whole thing is there. I could have been doing anything else. Why did you stop there? Is there a lesson for you in that day? And that journey is where the mindfulness comes. So the deep, so seeing and being. So you observe and you become a part of it. You immerse yourself in that. So I am looking, see, initially it might be difficult, Madan. So that's why this practice book. I have already shot some telephoto and macro. So you don't have to travel that space. I have already traveled that for you.
Got it.
So this is like a mission for the day. Hey, in this flower, I didn't know this was there. Did you see these lines? I had not. Now I want to find where these lines in the vines are. Where? And what time of the day? Is it night? Some of the night shots are there. Some are morning shots. Some are backlit. So you keep on going on. Say, if I want to emulate this picture, so the tree is the same, mango tree, but it's not lit the way this guy has written it in his book. So what time does the sun come like this? Do I have the east here?
Yeah, the perspective, the frame, all that changes.
So you open up. So this book is like a quick start for your photography journey, for your mindfulness journey. So I'm so grateful that I could put it as a camera yoga practice book without a camera.
Got it.
while the initial ecosystem was
Is about
everything you do with the
photography.
camera.
Yeah.
So now it's each time it's spreading, you know, it's like new intuitiveness, and that's why the white paper also.
Got it.
So I wanted
What
to
is the white paper about?
white paper is about the
It's for
attention
practice, yeah.
retention which is there, how camera yoga as a practice is a framework which I'm developing, and I wanted to develop with behavioral lab studying the effects. So I'm clear that there should be no, like, you know, claims in that sense of the term. I've already studied a few like moving art images by Louis, a Hollywood cinematographer who is already, that study has been studied at Princeton and all that, where they have seen how these films can affect you cognitively, used in hospitals and spaces.
Wow, yeah.
So there have been research, there have been studies on the brain effect of nature, on images, what it creates. So I'm continuing that into this process where my style of camera yoga, where it's handheld, not cinematography as in take my best camera out. I'm just talking about iPhone taking images of nature. So how does, so already I've, you know, last Earth Day, that was one survey I announced. So we already took it to a couple of spaces, including children with autism, to see how it affects neurodivergent traits. Is there a change? So I am clear that parallelly I want to build a well represented, well attested ecosystem where camera yoga as a principle and as an activity will distill value, because it's been checked through behavioral labs, through control groups, and there is something we want to publish as results. And that's where I need help from people who pick this book, and, you know, we would be happy to know what the journey is about.
Very nice. Thanks, Anil. Thank you all for joining us. This is a fireside chat on the new book, Find Dreams by Anil Annaiah, talking all about camera yoga. And what better way to launch this book than on World Photography Day? And what better place to launch this book than the Ritz-Carlton Bangalore? Thanks again to my team. Thanks to all of you for watching this. Thanks to the team at Ritz-Carlton, and thanks especially to Anil. Anil, thank you so much. And
Thank you,
we look forward to taking the themes, the lessons, and the messages of this book to much wider audiences.
So I just kind of flipped through the book to kind of give an idea what to expect, where to stop maybe for a thought, etc. So let's see, what is a quote? You could read this.
Sure. Inability to escape from doing the right thing travels with us.
So that could be the thought for the day today. It happens serendipitously.
Yeah.
So that's a message on World Photography Day from mine.
Yeah. Photography, practice, discipline, and serendipity. May the force be with you. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope you join future book stage sessions with MXR.world. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Madan. Thank you so much.